Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of A Spiritual Soul Book Message. I wrote a book called A Spiritual Soul Book, and in these videos, I'm sharing with you some of the incredible wisdom that you can find in that book with over 800 pages and 300 chapters. You can find it on the web at www.aspiritualsoulbook.com. It's available also on Amazon. My name is Rabbi Ezagui, and I'm a rabbi here in South Florida for over 36 years. Today, I'd like to share with you some wisdom and some coping methods for stress and anxiety. I did a message on this subject some time ago, but I was requested to do another message on that subject because they enjoyed so much the message that I shared a few weeks ago, and that's exactly what I'm going to do. We're going to talk about something that today, unfortunately, so many people are suffering with it. Even though we're living in a time which has more resources and more luxury and more good at the fingertips of everybody, more than ever in the history of mankind. Unfortunately, for many different reasons, which I'm not going to get into on this video, we do have a lot of stress. What is stress? We are responding to pressures in ways that are negative. We have all kinds of different pressures, whether it's pressures of finances, relationships, social media, the news. But the truth of the matter is, those pressures are on the outside of ourselves, and those pressures, we are giving a certain window or door for those pressures to enter into ourselves. The truth of the matter is that those pressures are pressures only because we view them as a pressure. But if we change our view, our perspective to those occurrences that are going on around us, perhaps we'll be able to harness and steer that energy in a more positive kind of a way. But bottom line is that there's a lot of stress and there's a lot of pressures, and it's leading to anxiety and very, very negative kind of not good outcomes in a person's life, whether it's insomnia, whether it's gaining weight, whether it's high blood pressure, whether it's irritability, a whole bunch of stuff that it leads to. And so I'm going to share with you today some coping methods that Hasidus and the Torah offers us to deal with stress and anxiety in the world and in our environment. The first thing is to try to stop the stress, to try to stop these negative pressures before it builds up into a great big snowball. The minute we see that it's snowing, I remember as a kid in Montreal, the minute that it would start snowing, you got all the trucks out in the street so that it shouldn't build itself up and then become an obstacle on the sidewalks and on the road. The trucks would be going out the minute it started to snow, putting down the salt, pushing away the snow, so that it never had a chance to go build itself up to such a high level that it would be impossible to pass through the roads and walk on the sidewalks. Same thing is also, after a while, we start becoming familiar with what our triggers are and what really is putting us down and what's leading us down a dark, dark tunnel or into a very bad place. And so the first thing is we need to realize and be conscientious of those triggers and do something to eliminate and stop the stress before it builds up into a water that you can make a dam and you can get who knows what kind of electricity out of all that built up pressure. And how do you do that? First thing is, the way you do it is the way you approach and the way you think about what's going on in life. And that is understanding that everything that happens in this world is not happening to you, but it's happening for you. It's not coming to challenge you and to push you down. It's coming here to serve you for a good reason. And everything that goes on in this world, we need to ask ourselves, how is this serving me? There is a God in this world, and nothing happens in a way that is meant to overwhelm me and push me down. Everything is being done for a good and a positive reason. There is a silver lining around everything. And if we look out to find that silver lining, we will find how it's there to serve us, how it's there to add something positive, a lesson a actual opportunity. And that's what you got to train your mind. You got to say what the Talmud tells us, Kol ma da'ovid rachmana l'tav. Everything that God does is for the good. It will bring something positive, or even something more powerful, gamzu l'toiva. This too is for the good. That's even more powerful than saying that it will lead to something good. It will lead to some kind of opportunity. It's understanding that at this moment, what I'm going through is for my good. When you change your mentality to look at things in that light, so then you train your mind, you train your heart to actually discover the positive that is in everything. You know, the prophet tells us that from God does not come bad. There is good in everything, even when there is an element of pain, but sometimes you got to pay for the good with some pain. You know, we got to work hard to make money. You got to get a needle and it pinches, but the intention is for the good. So that's the first kind of very, very important thing to remember, is that everything that God does is for the good. And therefore, whatever I'm going through has some element that is going to bring good in my life. And therefore, I accept it with a happy countenance, even if it's painful. And then we go to even a stronger and a deeper level. We say, Gamzu l'toiva, not only will it lead to something good, this in itself has some, it put me in a good place, in a better place. And how does that happen? That happens when you trust the way you're on is being directed by a good God. You need to trust. You need to develop that trust. You know, the great prophet Habakkuk, he says, "V'tzadik be'emunasa yichya." The way to live a righteous and a happy life is only through your faith and through your trust in God. The stronger you trust, the stronger your faith. You will be able to keep on going on the road, because you know, you have trust that the road that you're on is the right one. You know that you have all the resources to keep on giving you the strength to take another step. God, who controls everything, is controlling this moment as well. And the truth of the matter is, here's another very important element. You only have this moment. The past is already behind you. It's already, what do they say? It's spilled milk. It's water under the bridge. So obsessing on the past is not going to help you now in the present. That's already gone. And worrying about the future is also not very smart, because the future is not yet here. And you don't even know what the future will bring. The future is open to 1,000,001 different possibilities. The only way to really be happy and to deal with avoiding stress or even getting it away quickly is by being mindful in the moment, because that's all you have. Being mindful, putting your entire concentration and focus on the moment right now. You open up your book, if you're the Tehillim, and you focus on the words that you're saying now. You open up your book of the prayers and you focus on what you're doing now. What does it mean? How is it giving you strength, and what lessons are you taking from it? You're doing work, you're focused on the moment right now to do a good job for your employer or for your client, because that's all you have this moment. And if you spend this moment in the right way, then in the next moment, you will have a past moment that you are building upon, which makes the next moment even a better moment. So that's a very, very important thing. Thinking too much about the past, worrying about too much about the future is really not good. It's not going to help you move to the future when you're looking back to the past. Overthinking is dangerous. It's no good. There's a limit to how much we can know. There's a limit to how much we can understand. And we got to realize that God is the one that runs the world. We're just putting a finger to it. And so if we realize that it's really 99.9% God, and we're just putting a finger to it, so we're just going to do our best, realize our limitations, And then we're going to spend this moment doing our best, behaving and acting and doing something. So that gets us out of our brain and focused on the action that we're doing. And by being focused on the action that we are doing, we're going to do a good action with trust in the moment and trust in God that where we are at this moment is exactly where we need to be with the resources necessary to deal with what we are faced with at this moment. You know, the Rebbe once said that the reason why we have a neck and we have a head is not so much to think, but to have a place where to put the strap of the gun. You need to have a place when you're running and you're a soldier. You need to have a place where to put the strap of your gun. So you put it on your neck. Your neck holds the strap so that you can shoot while you're running and when you get to wherever you need to. It's there to serve the gun. It's not there to all of a sudden start thinking, why am I here? And is it right? And is it wrong? And whatever else it is. So that's what I want to leave with you today. In this very short message, in this very short video, in how to deal with stress and how to deal with anxiety. And my message is to stop the stress and the pressure before it gets out of hand, to recognize the trigger, to realize when it starts snowing and the worries are becoming overwhelming, and to start to remember that the past, I can't do anything about it. It's already behind me. It was exactly the way it was meant to be. The future, I don't even have a right to think about it because who knows what will be. I only have this moment. And in this moment, I'm going to focus my concentration on this moment and be mindful of this moment, which is all I have. That in itself helps us divert our mind away from what is stressful. In addition to that, and on a layer higher or deeper or on the side of being mindful of the moment, I'm going to realize that everything that God does and exactly where I'm at right now is for the good. And if I realize and if I trust that it's for the good, I'm going to become more sensitive, more focused on the opportunity of the moment. And this is going to give a positive perspective. That in itself is going to lighten the load on anybody's soul, on anybody's heart. So good luck. And I hope these couple of words give you some ideas and some triggers and some sparks to be stronger, to be happier, and to be more positive.